Oh, life started. Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. I'm just a bit tired. Hmm. If you're wondering why it's because there's a bit of pizza crumbs on my lips. That's why. Mmm. Oh, dang, that part. My hand is cold. I'm just putting my blankets on. I could get warm. Mind your language. Mind your language. Mind your language. I am learning. I am learning. They come and go. Yeah, they come and go. We are learning. We are learning. Oh, mind your language. Mind your language. Mind your language. It's a theme song to a old K sitcom called Mind Your Language. Back then it was considered okay, but then like during like the mid to late 80s, people like were thinking the show was a bit racist, but it wasn't. I'm sure some characters called each other names due to their like sorry, just trying to get something off my phone. A smudge. Some people would find it racist due to because like there were like some people of different nationalities and religions like calling each other names. But like back then it was like the show back then was meant to be funny, but now, sort of like Tropic Thunder, if you tried making it, people would be like both offensive and racist. Like I don't like sure like the show seems a bit racist, but like outside of that, it's funny as hell. Because the first time I discovered it, the guy I used to watch, he reacted to the first two episodes, and literally like right after I watched the two like the reactions to the first two episodes of season one, I immediately went on like I was on YouTube. I immediately went to the search bar, like you know the tab where you search stuff. I immediately went to the search bar and just searched up "Mind Your Language" series, and it pops up. But guess what popped up? It was a compilation of not just season one, not just season two, but all three seasons. And I searched up the show on Google and it said apparently there was a fourth season, but it never came to TV, sadly. And I was like, oh. Well, like, it did come to TV, but, like, since seasons 1 to 3 had a DVD, season 4 didn't come to DVD for some reason, which is sad. But apparently, I found out from the guy that apparently they've got someone uploaded season 4 apparently to Facebook, and I'm like, well, so we can't get season 4 on DVD, but we could get seasons 1 to 3 on DVD, but why is season 4 on Facebook? And let me tell you guys, it is real, because I searched it up on Facebook, and it is real. I watched like the first 10 minutes of episode 1 from season 4, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm telling you right now, I was like thinking on my, there is no way this is season 4 of Mind Your Language. But then, yep, it is. Seasons 1 to 3 looks like they filmed on a set, but season 4, I gotta tell you, it looks like they filmed it on a smaller budget, and they look like they filmed it in an office building. Look at, like, it looks nothing like anything from seasons 1 to 3. It looks like the building just went through a renovation off screen. And then, like, everything is like, you know how in seasons 1 to 3, like, every, like, sort of every room, every door in the show was, like, blue and stuff? Like, not like everything, but some stuff was blue, like in the classroom and stuff. The whole thing in season 4 is from blue to green. And I felt like I was watching, like, a revival of a show, but, like, it's got a smaller budget. I felt like I was watching the revival of Malcolm in the Middle, which I do love Malcolm in the Middle, but I didn't really like the revival. There was nothing wrong with it. Well, there was one thing. Malcolm in the, like, what, 10 episodes? Revival had, like, 4. I was like, so hold up. All of the episodes are, like, 20, 30 minutes or 40. Why is all the episodes being 4... Like, why is there episodes and all of them are like 30, 40 minutes long? You could have made them an hour. And why does Malcolm in the Middle revival have to have only 4 episodes? Could have gave us like 10 or 12. I wouldn't mind like them like saying, oh guys, just letting you know, Malcolm in the Middle might have 4 episodes, but it's okay, we're filming 12 currently or something. But I still like the revival. It just felt, to me, no offense to people that love it, it felt like it was a bit rushed in a way. Because we didn't hear much about, like, Malcolm's, like, daughter or girlfriend. We didn't see, like, their backstory or anything. And plus, we didn't see the parents together, Malcolm's parents together, until, like, end of episode 1. And then, in the last episode. I mean, they were sort of, like, together, if you get what I mean, in some scenes, but not with Malcolm. And Malcolm doesn't even interact with any of his brothers. Well, not much anyways. Like, he interacts with well, with them in, like, a few scenes, if you get what I mean. I was like, bro, they are brothers, man. Interact with them, like, jeez. Like, I have older siblings, right? If I was away from them for years, I wouldn't just say like, oh look, my siblings are there. I'm just gonna interact with them just for a few seconds, and then I'm gonna go back to doing what I'm doing. No, I would go over to them and ask how they're doing and how they've been. I'm not gonna say, hey guys, do you mind if I talk to you for a few seconds? Or a few seconds is gone, I'm just gonna go back doing what I'm doing. Hi, Enderman. Oh, Carl. That's not what I would do to my older siblings. I would just check in on them, see how they're doing, not just say, oh, I'm talking to you guys for a few seconds, now I'm gonna go back to doing what I'm doing. They're just gonna be like, bro, you just walked up to us? I also heard, since I've only seen a few episodes of this, apparently there's gonna be an iCarly movie. Because apparently there was a revival show. What? Why are we making a movie? I mean, even though I didn't complain when Summer I Turned Pretty, didn't get cancelled, but ended on a major cliffhanger, and they were like, oh, we're making a movie. I'm like, yay! But I'm not saying yay to iCarly, because I'm not really a fan of iCarly. I'm not a fan of that show. I'm a fan of Summer I Turned Pretty. That's what I'm a fan of. I mean, they turned Good Omens, Good Omens. They turned Good Omens into a, so yeah. Why didn't they do that for Outer Banks? They could have like did that for Outer Banks in a way, or well, they sort of did it for Stranger Things. They could have done it for Outer Banks. They could like I hope Outer Banks, fingers crossed. I hope that Outer Banks finale is long, like 2 hours long. I swear, because if it's only like 50 minutes or an hour, oh, you gotta make it count. The one thing I've learned from like finales of shows is that like you cross your fingers hoping it's a good finale, because I've learned from Stranger Things, even though I sort of like the season 5 finale, it just felt a bit rushed. So I'm kind of hoping that Outer Banks season finale is good. I mean, I'm not gonna hate the show because I love the show, but I just hope, fingers crossed, it's not gonna be like Stranger Things or the Umbrella Academy. Same for Summer I Turned Pretty for the movie. I hope it's good. I mean, Good Omens, whatever it's called. Hi, OB. Good Omens was good because, well, how do I say this for like the movie? And by the way, spoilers, sorry. The world's like about to end, and like, hi Jay, the world's about to end, and like David Tennant and like I forgot the guy's name, one of the Sheens. They basically say to both, I think God and the devil, say like to them both, how about this? You help us protect the world, like save the world, but make us be reborn. Like, how do I say this? Like, sort of erase them from existence, but then make them be reborn into humans, if that makes sense. And I gotta say, when Good Omens ended, I actually fucking cried. Because it was gonna be the last time I got to see David Tennant in a show with that guy. God, I'm gonna miss the show so much. I just miss their characters now. Crowley and I forgot the other character's name. But I do hope Outer Banks has a good finale. I mean, Jesus. I do love Outer Banks. I'm not saying I'm gonna hate it if there's a bad finale. I just hope it's not rushed, is what I mean. I mean, look at Stranger Things Season 5, for example. That finale, alright, it had lots of potential, but then they rushed everything at the end. They rushed everything. That's what I hated the most about the finale of Stranger Things. They rushed everything, and then bada bing, bada boom. Boom. Ended. Um, I am excited though for the Summer I Turned Pretty movie, not the iCarly movie though, because like I mentioned just before, I'm not really a fan of iCarly, but I am a big fan of Summer I Turned Pretty, because I was watching the rest of the show called Sandman, or The Sandman. It was when I found about the creator's allegations, not going to go into it because it's a bit too inappropriate, but I was trying to finish watching the final season, I believe, and my older sister was like, "Hey, you should watch the show." And I was like, "Oh, what's it called?" And she was like, "Summer I Turned Pretty." And I was like, "Alright, just let me finish watching this episode." So she shows me the trailer, then we watch the first 2 episodes, and she's like, "You gonna watch it?" And I said, "Shh, I'm gonna watch this by myself." And she was like, "What?" I'm sad that JJ's not gonna be in the finale. Let me just mention, since I've never mentioned this to anyone, after watching Outer Banks and that scene in that episode, I cried. my mother, sorry. But anyways, I cried when JJ died in Outer Banks. I had my tissues prepared because I felt like something was gonna happen. Well, not something bad, but I felt like something was gonna happen. And then when that scene came up in Outer Banks, I used up half of my tissues because after wiping every tear, more kept coming out. And then by the time the episode ended, there were tissues all over my desk, and I was drinking what was left of my drink. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I had to wipe a bit of the smudge off my TV because I had some tears on my hands, and I put my hand on my TV and I was like, don't worry, JJ. Rest in peace, buddy. I don't even know why I said don't worry though. But let's hope they avenge him in the final season. Can I just say another show that, like another finale I didn't like the most, even though there were some parts I liked, but some I didn't, was the final episode of Euphoria. And I know someone's gonna say, wait, I'm sorry. I know someone's gonna say to me, wait, I'm sorry, you watched Euphoria? The R-rated show with like drugs and stuff. Yes! Alright, yes. Not because of that reason. No. I love, right? Zendaya is one of my favorite actresses. Angus Cloud was one of my favorite actors, R.I.P. And that's how I got introduced to Jacob Elordi, who was in one of my favorite Del Toro movies, the new Frankenstein movie on Netflix. And let me explain to you this why I love Euphoria. Because it's like 13 Reasons. Let me rephrase that. It's like a tamer version of 13 Reasons Why. If anyone has seen 13 Reasons Why, you would know what I mean. I'm not going to explain what 13 Reasons Why is about because it's too graphic. Let's just say search it up. You'll understand what I mean. But Euphoria was a show I watched. I got into it because my older sister watched it one time and she said that I would love the show, but she didn't tell me not how hard. Oh God, sorry, I was mumbling. She didn't tell me not how hardcore it was, but how graphic it was. Like not with the violence, but you'll get what I mean. Starts with an S, and yeah, you'll get it. She didn't tell me how graphic those parts were. She didn't tell me how graphic most of the episodes are, like with the like intensity and shit. But I do still love the show, aside from that. But the one thing I hated from the show was the finale of the final season. I know someone's gonna say, is it because of what happened to Zendaya's character? Yes! But the one thing I loved the most, Coleman Domingo, one of my favorite actors, the one thing I loved from his character is that even though he's like a pacifist, I think, and like he doesn't like violence, he grabs, or I think he finds a shotgun, and he finds her killer in his nightclub, and like he's about to shoot the guy that killed her, right? Sorry. If I'm about to burp, I ate food before. And he looks at like the bad guy's men thinking that like, oh wait, but if I kill the bad guy, what if I get killed? But then one of the bad guys just says like, I don't know what he says to him, but he just looks at him like, it's alright, you can do it. I'm gonna like, cause I think, if I remember correctly, one of the bad guy's men became friends with Zendaya. And like he understood why Coleman Domingo wanted to kill the bad guy. So he was like, he may be my boss or former boss, because he's gonna die, but it's your business, so I'm not gonna intervene with anything. And like, I don't remember the whole thing, but I feel like I think the boss was just looking at him like, you're not gonna take him down because he wants to kill me? You're not gonna take him down? Like, he was probably staring at him like, dude, do something. And I actually heard when Coleman Domingo had a shootout in that nightclub. I was like thinking of that like one scene from The Harder They Fall, a great Idris Elba movie. I was thinking of that scene when after they freed Idris Elba, he was walking out of the train sort of in slow motion. And he said like everybody but the train driver and everyone was just shooting all like corrupt like government officials. That's what it was reminding me of, sort of in a way. But like not just that scene, but that song. I don't remember how it went, but I had that song on my head when like he was doing a shootout in the nightclub. And the one thing I gotta say, I'm glad I got to discover Euphoria. I'm glad I discovered that show. But I'm also glad I discovered Outer Banks, because without Outer Banks, I wouldn't have discovered a great show. I discovered Outer Banks by myself, because here's a story, right? I was on Netflix, scrolling like a movie or show to watch, and then on my recommended list, the first thing that appeared was Outer Banks. So I watched a few of the trailers. Not a few, I mean like I watched the season 1 trailer and the season 2 trailer. And then I thought to myself, this could be a show I could watch. So I watched the first 3 episodes of season 1. Then I thought to myself, whoa, this is like reminding me of the first time I watched Peaky Blinders and I got so addicted. So, you know what I did? Someone's gonna probably say like, let me guess, you didn't watch Outer Banks? No, I did watch it. And I was enjoying it. Although I don't allow people to hate on Outer Banks. I know it's people's opinions, but if people say something rude about Outer Banks, one thing I'm gonna say is, you're just missing great stuff. That's what I would say to someone if they don't like Outer Banks. If they say, oh, I hate Outer Banks because of that, I'm gonna say, well, dude, you're just missing out on something great. Outer Banks is the best show I've ever seen. Alright? When I discovered it, I loved it. I just loved it. But I'm sad it's going. But I am excited as well for The Gentleman Season 2. Because when they mentioned in like, when did the show come out? 2024. Around like late 2024, early or mid 2025. When they announced the Season 2 for The Gentleman, I was like, ooh. And then apparently I found out that they filmed most of Season 2 in Malta, which is in Italy. And I was like, we're going to Italy? And then when the trailer came out, before I reacted to it, I wanted to watch it for myself. And when I did, I thought to myself, oh, the stakes are going high, and we might be going against an Italian mafia. It was reminding me of like, even though I'm not in The Gentleman, if I had to, like if I was, I would have like, well, I described Gentleman Season 2 as this, right? From watching the trailer. It's like if The Godfather, one of my favorite movies of all time, was having a crossover with The Gentleman, but it's The Godfather in modern times, if that makes sense. I love The Godfather so much. I love the first 2 movies, but I don't really like the third. Well, like, I'm 50-50 with it. So, like, sort of mixed with the movie. The first 2 are my favorites, my absolute all-time favorites. I remember one time, before I go, I showed one of my uncles the first movie, and like, it's like 2 hours 54, 3 hours 54 minutes. And he was like, fucking hell, for a mafia movie, this was like so long. And I was like, that's what you call a blockbuster. I don't remember who directed the Mafia. Not the Mafia. What the fuck? I don't remember who directed the Godfather movies. I think it was Martin Scorsese. He's one of my favorite directors. Cause one of my other favorite movies of his that he made is Wolf Street with Jonah Hill, John Bernthal, Leonardo DiCaprio, and who else is in it? I'm trying to remember who else is in it. Kyle Chandler, sorry. Not Carl, what the hell? Kyle Chandler. He's a great actor. But I love Wolf of Wall Street so much. I remember all the lines, but there's one of my favorites before I go. One of my favorite lines from Wolf of Wall Street is like, also Margot Robbie is in it, great actress. She like splashes Leonardo DiCaprio with water. She like says some random name like who is blah 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 because I can't remember the name, and he's like, what, who? And then she's like, who? What are you, a fucking hell? Who is she? I love Wolf of Wall Street. It's one of my favorite lines. Who? What are you, a fucking hell? Who is she? Oh, Martin Scorsese, you make the best movies in history. I feel like I need to watch more of like Scorsese's movies. I don't remember what other movies he's made. I think did he direct The Irishman? Or no, I don't think he did. Oh well, I'm gonna have to figure out what other movies he's directed. Hello, face. I'm gonna have to figure out what other movies he's directed. Cause anything with Scorsese that he's made, you know, any movie that Martin Scorsese has ever made is the best. You know it's gonna be the best. And I know it's the best. Because I've seen some of his movies. I haven't seen every movie, but I've seen some. And what I've seen from his movies, you know that man can make movies. Same as Quentin Tarantino. Same as Guillermo del Toro. Same as Wes Anderson. Same as like Reitman, R.I.P. Same as like what's another director? Steven Spielberg, James Cameron. Hell, anyone that you could think of has made the greatest movies, and they always hit. Hold on. Like that. Voice crack, sorry. But anyways, I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys